All right. Well, so not a lot of people know this about you, but you're actually related to Evelyn Champagne King, who was a famous singer.
Sure. Yes and no.
Yes and no. Okay.
My uncle, my mother's brother, that's what our uncle is. My uncle was married to her sister.
Oh, okay. So through marriage.
My uncle and her sister were married. So when I was a kid, I would, go hang out with the Champagne Kings and all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I haven't seen her since I was a child. So yeah, because my uncle is not well, rest in peace to his ex-wife. She passed away. Wanda, she passed away years ago. So but they broke up way before that anyway. But yeah, my uncle was married to her sister. So I used to when I was a kid, I used to spend time at the house and all of that. I had a lot of experiences growing up over there with at the Caribbean.
How do you think that impacted you as a kid to see like musical greatness like that?
At the time I was young. I didn't, it was cool. We used to call her, and it's funny because I didn't realize as an adult, we used to call her Auntie Bubbles. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, why do you call her Auntie Bubbles? Champagne, Bubbles. As a kid, I didn't correlate it. We call her Auntie Bubbles or Auntie Champagne and shit. So you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so it was all I knew is that like because I lived in Brooklyn in the tenement building. You feel me? All I knew was that every time we went to Jersey, we was on some palatial shit. Like that's all I know. When we went to Jersey, it didn't look like my block in Brooklyn. Like she had some plus shit. So that's the only thing I could say as a kid. Like I didn't really do the knowledge on the music shit. You know what I mean? Like I knew obviously who she is in the song. She did the people ain't no doubt about it. I'm in love, all that shit, all that cool shit. She did all that. But as a kid, I think those records was already out when I was a kid. The other records was already out when I was a, so she was already lit. You know what I mean? But I didn't really know. I should say I was mad young, so I couldn't really be like, oh yeah. I can't tell you the like no experiences outside and like fans and all that shit. We used to go to the crib. She had a big ass pool in the backyard. And she had bread because the pool was in the fucking ground. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, I like how you made that distinction right there.
The pool was in the ground. It wasn't like when I was going to Brownsville, the Betsy had pool, or when I was in the style going to Marcy and shit. This wasn't the pool where I had to watch my sneakers and shit, and they be breaking in the locker and all that. This ain't Sunset Park pool, man. This is some palatial black excellence, some shit. You know what I'm saying? So anytime I went to a crib, I just felt like I was on TV. When I went to a crib, I felt like I was on TV. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that was always crazy.
Movie.
But I also have other relatives that made some prolific music in the 80s as well. Like my older cousin.
You have another family member in the group Sky, right?
Yeah, my older cousin. You know what I'm saying? He was one of the writers. That's his group, Sky's his group. And his name Solomon Robbins. You know what I mean? And so them I remember a lot because they used to record. They had a studio in East New York at my aunt's crib. Rest in peace to my aunt. My aunt had a crib on Linden in Georgia, in East New York, right down the block from where the Coke shit was at and all that, Coca-Cola. So we used to always go to my aunt's crib every day. Like we in Brooklyn, so my aunt had the house and shit, and they had a studio in the house. So the first home studio I ever saw was them when they used to have jam sessions and all of that. So seeing them back in the day was kind of cool because even though the hip hop is what always resonated with me, like I never wanted to like do no funk soul, no shit. Like I appreciate the music, but it wasn't my music. You know what I'm saying? But it was cool to see how they connected with the fans and shit. Because I remember real young, my mother would take me. If they did a show locally, because the girl, the women, because they way older than me, the women that sang in the group, the ladies in Sky, they was from the Sky, they was from LG Projects. You know what I'm saying? And my cousin, he from East New York. And so it was just like, so when I would see them, they're like, it's a Brooklyn group. You feel me? Like, this is Brooklyn. Like, so like when they would do shows, it would just seeing how the people would go, because they had plaques. Like, I would go to my aunt's crib, there's gold plaques on the wall. You know what I'm saying? I walk in the crib, there's gold plaques on the wall and shit. Like, so seeing how people reacted to them when they was on stage and the son, I can say son, like he'd be my father, but son on the fucking bass, on the guitar, and the fucking people screaming and shit. That's when I was just like, oh, this music shit is real. You know what I'm saying? And when they do a song that resonate with people and shit, like they had that old song back in the day that everybody loved. Call me if you need someone to talk to. A lot of people think that group was from the West Coast, because it's funny, I was actually out when I was recording with Broadway, you know, out in Altadena and shit. When I was recording with Broadway, shout out to Liquid Crew and all that. He didn't, you know, we had a conversation. I told him that was my family and all of that. He was like, I thought they was from out here. I thought they was from California. I'm like, I used from Brooklyn, bro. Because the music, a lot of people thought it was that skate rink music, and like LA, they was big with that skate culture in the 80s and shit like that, the skating rink type shit. That's a little bit before my time, but so that was the type of shit that they would do. Like, they shit, they playing the fucking motherfuckers skating and doing all that cool shit that was a little bit before my time. I never really grasped that skating shit, but yeah, so like seeing them was a lot of motivation, because they had records that everyone loved, like, and you know, that the hood loved, you know what I'm saying? And they was one of the first, like, well, one of the last, you know, like I said, I'm a hip hop guy, so like, but to go to these shows and motherfuckers on the drum, motherfuckers on the bass, on the guitar, like, that was different to me, because that's not my lane. But watching how that makes the people feel when motherfuckers is playing them keys and shit, motherfuckers playing that bass and shit like that, motherfuckers screaming and shit, like, that shit's beautiful, bro. Like, that shit definitely made me be like, if I'm up there, I gotta figure some shit out. I gotta entertain these motherfuckers, because these niggas is entertaining, you know what I'm saying? So that shit definitely made me look at things through a different scope, seeing that shit. You know what I mean? And then, like I said,
you saw them do something that initiated a response.
Oh yeah,
basically, and then you wanted to do the same thing.
It is
in your own way.
In my own way, because I never wanted to just be a singer. I never wanted to play no instruments like professionally or nothing. But I definitely I knew I had to figure out something to be able to reach the people in a similar fashion. Mm-hmm. And it just happened to be talking shit.
Got you.